Mondi, I I
You
can't
can't
tell.
tell I'm doing Darth
No,
Vader. Okay. Okay.
is
Cool.
that what that was?
Yeah. Yeah.
Got it.
Disregard that.
Okay. Yeah, it didn't come through well like on the Skype, so like
Mm.
it just sounded like blank air to me.
Wow. Okay. Well, that was a misfire. How's it going?
Um, yeah, Mando season 3. We're here. We're here. We
The
we made it.
Mandalorian. Yes, we
Yeah,
did.
we made it. Niggas thought that we
Uh,
wasn't gonna do it. Who don't know who the fuck these niggas were,
I'm about to say
but
like what?
here we are, man. Mando season 3. Let's get it. Let's get into it.
Mandalorian season 3 podcast. First of all, before we kind of divulge into season 3, what were your thoughts up until now when in regards to the Mandalorian
I
series?
mean, come on. Longtime listeners know that Din Djarin is literally my favorite Star Wars character. It happened just like that. The show is maybe what 4 years old, maybe, and he already completely won me over. Pedro Pascal as the Mandalorian is my guy, which went into my feelings for this season quite a bit. But yeah, I mean, I absolutely love the show. The first two seasons were damn near perfect in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, there are some stinkers, but overall, the first two seasons of the show was like really great television. Like basically must see TV in my opinion. So going into season 3, I had super high expectations, and again, that may have been my downfall, but that's okay. I'm a huge fan of the show, huge fan of the series, huge fan of the characters, and I couldn't wait for season 3. What about you?
Right. I tend to agree. And recent Star Wars projects haven't been necessarily the greatest, and so I was really excited to get back into the world that I knew I was comfortable with and that I loved. Because Obi-Wan Kenobi, I thought it was just mid. Book of Boba Fett has some highlights in it, but overall wasn't the Mandalorian level. And then of course Andor, I think, is a good show, but not a good Star Wars show, which I've also mentioned before. So I was ready to get back into this world, and so yeah, I was just like everybody else. I was super excited. So what we're going to do here is an episode breakdown. I'll kind of give a brief summary of the episode. We just kind of give our thoughts on it afterwards. So the first episode in season 3 was chapter 17, The Apostate. Basically, in this first episode, Din Djarin talks to the armorer about restoring his title as a true Mandalorian since he revealed to her that he removed his helmet. Why not, nigga, just lie. Anyway, he tells her that he plans to go to Mandalore and to bathe in the living waters. Din Djarin first goes to Navarro to meet Grief Karga to rebuild IG-11 for his journey to Mandalore. Din meets up with Bo-Katan, who's abandoned her mission to reclaim Mandalore after losing the Darksaber. That's pretty much the first episode. What are your thoughts on that?
Interesting. Yeah. So, um, it's like like you. I'm assuming I took notes on every single episode, and
Yep.
even all the way back then, I was notating stuff like I'm still not sure what Grogu's doing yet, but it's the first episode, so I'm sure we'll see. But I was really excited for the prospect of the season being, Mando gaining his redemption back and becoming a Mandalorian in the eyes of his clan again. That's what I thought the season was going to be. So when they solved that in 2 episodes, I was a little worried. But I'm sorry. Let me. I'm projecting, and I'm trying not to. So I'm just gonna talk about this episode. This episode was fun. Like it was good to have Mando and Grogu back together. Um, it was a cool opening with with all the Mandalorians and the big crocodile creature thing coming together. Mando coming in for the save. Uh, and like I said, I mean, I was I was excited about the possibilities of this is what the season's going to be. I will say it made me laugh that Bo-Katan was just sitting in her palace alone, just waiting on something to happen. I think I literally like laughed out loud. Like I was like, what the fuck? Like why are you just here by yourself, bitch?
Going to Black
Um,
Adam pose.
yeah, exactly. Like, and
Yes.
I did think the episode was a little short for a premiere this big. I mean, Mando season 3, episode 1 was a really big deal to me. But it was only like 30 something minutes, so whatever. I just figured at this point that they were making me wait, and it was going to be a great season moving forward. So episode 1, I actually enjoyed.
Yeah, same. Like you said, just the way it set up the possibilities to come, that had me excited. And the opening scene with the huge crocodile turtle was also very cool to see as well, interrupting the whole Mandalorian ceremony. My whole thing is those niggas didn't check the fucking river before they baptized the niggas in there. Like
That nigga was hiding.
the poor Mandalorian, they said, "Hey John, he go check the water, make sure it's okay." Like, yeah, it's great. Anyway, but yeah, it was really cool just the idea of seeing IG-11 again, because I really enjoyed it from season one. But we never really got him in full totality until maybe the very end. But just I was excited to see IG-11 join it. I think he's a really cool droid. And it was cool seeing all the little Babu freaks, their little cute ass. Bad baby. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, like you said, man, not too much to add to this first episode. It was just set up, or what I thought was set up at least. And so I was interested to see where we go from here.
Yeah.
Chapter 18, The Mines of Mandalore. Mando visits Pelimoto on Tatooine for a droid part to fix IG-11. She doesn't have the part that he needs, but she gives him with another droid, R5D4. Mando, Grogu, and R5D4 fly to Mandalore. They quickly learn that it's not a barren planet and it does have life, and they go deeper into the mines, and then is captured by a cyborg-like creature. Grogu was able to escape to Bo-Katan to get her help to free him. She and Grogu arrive on Mandalore and rescue Din. She then leads him to the living waters for him to bathe, and then he sinks to the bottom, and then Bo saves him. So that's episode 2. What are your thoughts on this episode?
Yeah, this is where it kind of started going to hell, as you like to say, for me. And it's crazy to think that on like episode 2, like I was kind of just like, what are we doing? Some of my main criticisms were that Mando needed to be saved multiple times in this episode. Like you're him, like you are literally him, and like this nigga got caught off guard multiple times, had to be saved by Bo-Katan multiple times. Maybe there's some toxicity there. Maybe. The Bryce Dallas Howard episode. I got some fucking things to say, but yeah, this episode was cool because Bo-Katan went crazy with the Darksaber. Like this nigga Mando just like his like attitude really pissed me off too. But he really does not want that shit. Like he is super cool, living in the countryside, doing bounties every now and then, him and Grogu chilling, which, as the individual, I get it. But as the, star of a show, like, you're boring. Yeah. So, I was very disappointed that Mando had to be saved multiple times, but I did appreciate that Bo-Katan was just like, she was ready. Like she saw that shit on the ground. She was like, hold on, you can't see it. And, she fucking like she had combos and everything with the Darksaber. It was crazy. The Grogu thing, like I'm gonna say it every episode, but like, what the fuck is Grogu doing? Like Grogu's far too important of a character to not have a single storyline. And I have in here like this nigga jumping around like Yoda. Like I think like in the writers' room or whatever, they thought it was cool, but his little puppeteering shit and his little walk, like all of it looks ridiculous. Like honestly, like it's borderline corny, and it like kind of makes me embarrassed. Like if people are like in the room and like they see me watching this bullshit with this little dog going wah, 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 like I'm dead ass like embarrassed. Like I cannot defend myself or the show at this point. So. Honestly, though, I don't shut money. Stop laughing. I'm being so serious. Honestly, I really hate you. Can you stop laughing, please?
Oh my god.
I really don't think that this is the problem that they even thought that they would have, because I feel like Grogu initially was just like kind of like a throwaway like wink. Like I don't think that they expected him to like explode into this popularity that he is. So they like have to do stuff with him. But yeah, it looks bad. That's just my opinion. Like it looks terrible. Yeah, episode 2, the end, the Mythosaur. We like never got any payoff for that, but whatever. Go ahead.
Okay, so you said this episode can go to hell or whatever. I thought this was one of the best episodes of the season. Now that is concerning, but I did think it was one of the more entertaining episodes, in my opinion. I thought, like I said,
no. Wait. I didn't say the episode could go to hell. I said this is when the show itself was starting to go to hell for me.
Okay.
This episode did have some cool things in it,
Okay.
but like as a followed plot line, I was starting to worry that if this was as good as it was going to get, we're in trouble. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, well, I like this episode. I see what you're saying as well. Just some things I wrote down in my notes as well. I do like Kelly Moto a lot. She just feels so Star Wars. Like she feels so like such a Star Warsy character. I would love to see more from her. I love how she interacts with her droids and stuff like that. The fact that she fucked a Jawa is still hilarious to me. R5D4, interesting to note, he actually appeared in A New Hope when Luke was on Tatooine. So that's kind of a cool wink callback to the fans, is bringing him back. Grogu, the way he flips to do those little hugs, it is adorable. But you're right, at times it does look ridiculous. And when you said that you felt embarrassed if somebody walked into the room who had no idea what was going on, I laughed because I feel the exact same way. Like, right, if my fucking dad walked in the room and saw me watching that shit, I'd be like,
I guess she's so dumb, bro.
It's interesting that you mentioned, like, they don't really have an idea what to do with Star Wars. It's highly rumored that Jon Favreau didn't want to bring Grogu back so soon. He wanted him, after the finale with Luke, he wanted him to train with Luke some more and give Mando more time to himself. But Kathleen Kennedy pushed to kind of have him back. He does great for merchandise and toys and stuff like that. And just people who aren't big Star Wars fans still watch The Mandalorian just to see Grogu, like a lot of women and people like that. So I think they should have more. In hindsight, it's always 2020. They should have went more so with Jon Favreau's choice, and also just the emotional payoff would be a lot more when he does return, and it kind of cheapens the impact of the finale of season 2 when him and Mando part ways. So, if that is true, Kathleen Kennedy, you can go to hell, and Jon Favreau, you're still a hero in my eyes.
I mean, but we knew that, and I mean, a year and a half ago when they did Book of Boba Fett, like I think both of us had the same opinion. Like, why are they doing this now? Like, we literally just separated these two characters. They had a great emotional send off, and I mean, I was more upset that they weren't doing this in Mando season 3. Like they're doing this big moment between these two characters in another character's spinoff show. It's super weird. But yeah, go ahead. Hopefully that's not true.
In the little troll creatures on Mandalore, they kind of reminded me of these creatures of this movie called The Time Machine. They were kind of cool, I guess. And just the whole scene with Grogu essentially going to Bo-Katan to save Din Djarin, a little unbelievable. Like, this nigga knows coordinates and how to fly a fucking starship. But I ain't gonna lie, it was adorable as hell. Just seeing him escaping that little pod through the mind of Mandalore, like, he was whipping that motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
Ben was about to recruit his ass because he was whipping that bitch. And Bo-Katan, I'm starting to notice. This is when I get a little horny on my horny segment. She kind of got the body yaddy. I don't know. Maybe
she was.
Yeah, she was walking like she was like switching that motherfucker. I'm like, oh, it's not. Did I miss this in season 2? She got a little body. Anyway, but yeah, she hits 5 with the Darksaber. She was going crazy. I believe she has some training with it in Rebels. I never watched Rebels, but I've seen comments like, "Oh, she's used it before," so maybe that would explain why. And last thing I just want to say that at the very end, when he sinks to the bottom in the living waters, I thought the nigga just couldn't swim, but apparently his suit is just too heavy. I was talking to a coworker of mine. He was like, "No, his suit just sinked." I mean, I thought he got dragged down by the Mythosaur. I'm sorry, but my coworker was like, "No, his suit is just so heavy with the Beskar, he just kind of sunk down to the bottom." Is that how you interpreted that? Because I thought that was kind of weird.
Absolutely not. The Mythosaur absolutely grabbed the nigga. We've seen him swim literally multiple times in this series, so that. No.
Okay. Well, coworker, you're wrong.
Bo-Katan has Beskar too. She doesn't have as much, but she has Beskar too, and she went right down and went right back up. So,
well, I was thinking maybe he didn't know that the water was that deep, but you're right. Why not just swim once you realize you're sinking?
Or use the jetpack on your back? Yeah.
Can it work in water?
Yeah, it can.
Yeah. Okay. Chapter 19, The Convert. Mando and Bo, I keep calling this nigga Mando. I know his name is Din Djarin. Star Wars fans, don't kill me. Mando and Bo are attacked by TIE fighters on the way back to Bo's palace. The TIE fighters manage to blow up Bo's palace, and Bo and Mando escape in hyperspace when more TIE fighters show up. Din Djarin presents the armorer with a sample of the living waters as proof of his redemption, and because she has also bathed in the waters, Bo-Katan is welcome to the Enclave as well. And now this is when it kind of cuts to Coruscant to follow what Dr. Pershing is up to. He's the kind of the scientist that works with Moff Gideon. He's been pardoned by the New Republic. He finds an old member of Moff Gideon's alliance named Elia Kane, and Kane assists Dr. Pershing in his cloning research, which has been outlawed by the New Republic. What are your thoughts on this episode?
Um, yeah, this was another interesting slash bad episode in my opinion. Well, I mean, I guess I liked the first two episodes. I just didn't love the direction. And in three, in you know, in the third episode, when we kind of resolved what I thought was going to be the main story, I'm just like, oh, okay. I mean, cool. I guess, I guess it's cool to, move right along and no filler and like, fast paced. Cool. Like let's get it done. Three episodes in, he's redeemed. Congratulations, Mando. You're one of us again. This is the way. Yeah. I did think it was hilarious that Bo-Katan was just like, I don't give a fuck about this. Like the armor was like, oh nigga, have you taken your helmet off since? And she was like, nah, not really. And armor's like, okay, nigga, you one of us too. She was like, I just want to rule Mandalore. Like, I don't care about this. I literally don't care about this. But sure, this is the way. And then yeah, this 40-minute excursion we got with Dr. Pershing and the Dyke girl can go to fucking hell. Like this was just kind of like Star Wars sucking its own dick, as you love to say. Like they know that they have this world, these characters, and like they know that hardcores are going to tune in regardless, so they can just get away with bullshit like this, with basically no payoff. I mean, the whole Moff Gideon thing was in the season 3 promo, so it's not like we didn't know the nigga was going to be in it. And for them to focus like an entire episode on this it was ballsy. That's what I'll say. And yeah, I still have in my notes, this is the third episode, 3 out of 3. Grogu still does not have anything to do. What are we doing? We're 3 episodes in. Go ahead, Monty. What'd you think?
Go in like this, Mando on the Mandalorian. Yeah, I agree. This episode was, in my opinion, the worst episode of the season. But weird. I mean, it had all the right ingredients. It's just the way they executed the whole Dr. Pershing thing was just so boring. Like you said, a huge chunk of time, and it had payoff, sure, but barely. In the finale, we kind of got like, did we need a whole 40-minute, like you said, episode on Coruscant to just see that this nigga has clones?
Yes, like what?
Yeah.
Come on, bro. For 2 minutes, and then Mando just destroys him. So yeah.
Right. But I mean, that cloning does have bigger implications. Like, obviously, they're alluding that's how Palpatine cloned himself. Anyway, there are some good things in the episode. Like, I thought the opening TIE fighter scene was just wow. Like, that was amazing to me. I mean, it was brief, but that was like movie budget Star Wars. Like, that was like, I would love to see just that part of the episode on like a silver screen one day. That was really cool. And I always say this all the time, but the TIE fighter's sound design is just top tier, like fucking amazing. It was cool to see Coruscant again, but just the vehicle in which we saw Coruscant wasn't that great, with the whole thing with Dr. Pershing. And also that Dyke girl, as you called her, do you remember her? She's from Ant-Man and Quantumania. She was like the leader in the Quantumania.
Yep.
Yeah, that's her. But yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got on that episode. Pretty boring, probably my least favorite of the season, which is sad because I love Coruscant, so they weren't able to maximize my Coruscant love there.
Coruscant's such a cool planet.
like bro, how do you have a boring episode on Coruscant? That makes no sense. Anyway, chapter 20, the Foundling. Mando, Grogu, and Bo-Katan are now a part of the Mandalorian sect. A large winged beast kidnaps one of the foundlings. Bo-Katan, Mando, and others go to retrieve the foundling. They successfully do. Bo-Katan, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, tells the armorer that she saw a mythosaur. That wraps up that episode. It's like one of the callbacks, like the older season 1 episodes, like, mission, freak of the week type thing. What are your thoughts on this episode?
I mean, a lot of these episodes were kind of episodic in that sense, where like there's a problem, we need you to solve it, move on to next week's. Which honestly, like I kind of am a sucker for that. Like I mean, I can appreciate an episodic series when it's done correctly. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think in this particular episode, this is the one where Grogu was having those flashbacks of Order 66 again, which like I think the show nailed just showing his perspective and like his like terror and like his heartbreak and like a super traumatic event for him. It was interesting to see Jar Jar Binks actor again back as
Best.
what's his name?
Ahmad Best.
Ahmad Best back as a Jedi. I think I mean we've talked about his story and the backlash he received from playing a character 20 years ago. So to see him kind of get this moment was cool. Um, yeah, Ahmed Best. Yeah, I did put that in my notes. I said, is he the only Black Jedi now? We don't know. Did he didn't die in the episode, so
It was more sensitive.
oh yeah, you're right. And then yeah, so I was a little concerned that Mando wants to make Grogu like a full Mandalorian. Like he can't just be Grogu. Like he's got to be a Mandalorian. But like I guess that just goes into
That was established in Book of Boba Fett, though. That was kind of already established. He was gonna do that.
yeah. I mean, and it really just shows kind of what they talked about in season 2, where it's just like you're basically from like a sector of like hardcore Mandalorians. Like you don't take your fucking helmet off. Like if you're born into this life, nigga, there's only one way out, nigga. So yeah, I guess we will be seeing Mando Grogu in season 4, maybe. I mean, I'm actually kind of warming up to the idea of like him having like a full armor thing, but like he's got to grow. Like he can't be a fucking pint-sized baby and like come on, like the fucking helmet's bigger than him. Um, Paz Vizsla, like yeah, I thought that he got like weird shine in this episode. I'm just like, why are we kind of giving Paz Vizsla shine? Like he's cool. He's like always been a background character. Go ahead.
Was that his son, though, that was captured by the winged beast?
Well, that's yeah, but like that's what I meant. Like
Oh,
in the moment, I was like, are we having a Paz Vizsla episode in The Mandalorian season 3? Like, cool, right? Cool. But like, where are we going with this? Like, obviously, I know now where we're going, but at the
right.
time, I'm just like, why the fuck are we doing a Paz Vizsla episode? Like, whatever. But I mean, he was cool. Like, I like Paz Vizsla. I was like, okay, like this nigga got his little mini-gun, like here's my son. So whatever, it was all good. And yeah,
But
like
also,
go ahead.
also the Vizsla house is very important in Mandalorian lore. Like that's like one of the main houses, like in Game of Thrones. Like it's like the House Lannister.
Mhm,
Like
mhm, mhm.
House Vizsla is very. That's why probably why they focused on him too. But go ahead. Sorry.
Got it. And yeah, at this point, excuse me, at this point, I literally notated that Bo-Katan is outshining Din Djarin. Like we need to start calling this the man not we need to stop calling it the Mandalorian and call it the Bo-Katan, because like she was leading the missions.
Back.
She was no, she was like she was leading the missions. Like Mando was taking orders from her. Like she was telling niggas, go here, nigga, go here, nigga, go here. Don't do that. Hey, don't do that, nigga. Yeah,
Don't do that,
didn't
nigga.
love that. Didn't love that. I thought that maybe they were just setting up the inevitable duel because all Bo-Katan seemed to care about was ruling Mandalore, and to rule Mandalore, you have to have the Darksaber. So I thought they were going in the direction of that, but they fucking didn't. So yeah, episode 4. What'd you think, Monty?
No, I wasn't saying what you were saying was whack. I was saying the title, the Bo-Katan, like nigga, that was horrible. But yeah, I noticed many people online had an issue with Bo-Katan seeming to outshine Din. I honestly didn't. I like Bo-Katan, and it's called The Mandalorian, so it still tracks. Like, I mean, she's a Mandalorian. I mean, so why does it have to be about only Din Djarin? I don't know, but I mean, many people online hated the fact that he seemed to be getting. Ew. Many people
Okay.
online hated the fact that
Yeah.
he was losing some shine, but I like
Mhm.
Bo almost just as much as him, so it didn't bother me.
Yeah, you're nuts. All right, cool.
This episode was directed by Carl Weathers, so shout out him. He's doing some directing in Star Wars. I love that for him.
I think he's done a
Um,
few of these Mando episodes. I think
yeah,
he
he
did one in
has.
season 2.
Yeah, he has. So that's cool.
Mhm.
You know, Grogu training scene was adorable, but like you said earlier, man, taking him serious when he's doing the little puppeteering flips and all that shit, like it just and also he's not only is he like a little puppet, he's beating niggas ass.
Mm-hmm.
He's beating ass. And yeah, at this point, like maybe season 4 ages us up a little bit, and then let's just go to the CG because yes, the puppeteering worked with Yoda because he wasn't doing much. Like we didn't see a puppet Yoda in combat, so yeah, I guess it worked in the OG trilogy. But if we're gonna have this nigga doing combat, walking around, CG his ass, okay? Um,
Please.
and yeah, like you said, the flashback order to Order 66 was very cool. I was like, who is this knockoff Mace Windu ass nigga? I was like, who the fuck is this? It's so funny how we think, like, even as black people, like, it's only one nigga in the galaxy. Who the fuck is this? It can't be two. But
That's instant fucking beef, bitch. Like, who the fuck are you, nigga?
you ain't Mace Windu, bitch. But I found out obviously that is he's played by Ahmad Best, and he got like a lot of like death threats, hate. He was depressed. Like we've seen this happen with Star Wars fans all the time, even with Reva. Even though I hated the bitch too, she didn't deserve the death threats. Same thing with John Boyega as fan. Like the Star Wars fandom is slick. No, not slick. It's very toxic. So fuck those niggas. I'm glad he's able to get back his his shine as like a premier Jedi. So like you said, is he still out there in the galaxy? We'll see. Um, Also, this is just something random I put in my notes. It's always cool. Like anytime Mando does something of importance or something really cool, we get that flute sound, that little flute, that little Mando. It gets me every time.
I agree.
I'm like, yeah. And also, I guess last thing I put in my notes is it just I always wonder like if these niggas can't take their helmets off, how do they eat? I guess I'm stupid. I just never thought that. Well, obviously when they eat, they gotta take their helmets off. I thought they would eat through like a tube or some shit. But they finally showed that they just literally take their helmets off and go somewhere else. So I was like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
But and to that point as well, I genuinely don't think I put my life savings on it that Pedro Pascal is not in that damn suit. And nigga he's doing other things. He's doing the voice acting, of course, but he is never in that suit. That's just practical. It doesn't make any sense why he would be in the suit anyway. But that's just my opinion. But yeah, it's episode 4.
For the first 2 seasons, they show like the behind the scenes and like the making of the show, and he's been in the suit a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's news to me, I guess.
Why do you think Pedro Pascal is too good to be in a fucking Mando suit?
I just do. Like, it's just if he wasn't in the suit, no one would ever know, and he could still get the performance across. So I don't see why he would need to be in a suit. So I actor of his caliber now. Anyway, chapter 21, The Pirate. The pirates that Grief Karga and Mando fought off earlier in the season return to Navarro under their captain. They blow Navarro to hell, and Grief Karga and the town residents retreat. Grief Karga gifts. Grief Karga calls for the help of the Mandalorians and Mando to come help save the day. Grief Karga then gifts the Mandalorians with a huge piece of land to live out freely instead of hiding. The armorer makes Bo-Katan take off her helmet and appoints her as one of the ones who will unite all the Mandalorians across the galaxy and retake Mandalore. It's revealed that Moff Gideon has been retrieved from his capture. So what are your thoughts on this?
Ooh. Yeah. So this was episode 5 of 8. Yeah. And I was basically ready to press the panic button because I'm just like, what are we doing, guys? Like, we're still having episodic episodes at this point. There's still like, at this point in the season, like, what are we building towards? And are we really going to build towards it for an episode or 2? Which is what happened, which is, okay. Grogu still had nothing to do. I'm tired of seeing them go on the fucking Grief Karga's planet as the Supreme High Magistrate, whatever the fuck his title was. This whole pirate thing, it was cool in the sense of anytime like all the Mandalorians are together, like it's always cool. Like I'm never gonna be mad that like all the Mandalorians are on screen and kicking ass and doing shit. And it was cool to see them like go through the villages and just be tactical essentially. But like I think I just have such high expectations for this show that I was just ready to focus on the meat and potatoes of it, and they just weren't giving it to me. And 5 episodes in, I'm just concerned. I'm just like what's going on? I thought again, like I thought that they were kind of just setting up, Bo-Katan was just going to challenge Mando for the Darksaber, and because she wants to unite Mandalore. Um, but that didn't happen. So yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, it was cool seeing the whole pirate fleet and seeing the the little air battles, but it none of that shit moved me. I was very disappointed in this episode. What do you think?
Right, another mid episode. I agree. And the Pirates are a callback to like Clone Wars. I did watch Clone Wars for a majority of it, and the Pirates have play a heavy kind of part in Clone Wars. I'm pretty sure they're in Rebels as well. So that's probably just Filoni winking to the audience. I did think that the pirate captain looked cool, like his aesthetic. He kind of reminded me of like Davy Jones
I was
from
just about to
Pirates of
say
the
the
Caribbean.
nigga was literally just Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well. Yeah. and and I agree, man. Like the idea, like conceptually, the idea of the Mandalorians retaking Mandalore should be this big event, like week to week television. You just can't miss. Like this is a huge thing, and it just felt like they put it on the back burner. And it didn't feel like the event that it should. That it didn't feel as big of the event that it should be. And that's just kind of weird how you have just rich source material to pull from, and just like this war, like conquest, and the fact that I don't know how it was handled, which we'll get to, is just very anticlimactic. So I agree with that.
Let me say this real quick. So if if this is them saying that they just didn't have 8 episodes to fill with that, fine. They've got to give us something, and I would rather them give us this than just bullshit. I mean, I guess you could argue that this is just bullshit too, but I I have to believe that the reason that they didn't give us what you just said was because they just didn't have 8 episodes of television for it. So whatever.
Yeah, I strongly disagree with it, because if you like I said, the source material is so rich. The idea of retaking a planet is more than 8 episodes worth. Game of Thrones would have handled that perfectly. Like this should be like a big cataclysmic, like retaking a war. Like has so much things you could do with that. So I don't think it's that. I think the problem is that they're trying to stick to the episodic formula that they're known for. But maybe the show has moved past. It's evolved past that at this point. Fans at this point know what they want. The whole episodic freak of the week, mission to mission thing might be redundant. Like, let's get to like you said, let's get to the whole meat and potatoes, and let's kind of avoid the whole traditional formula. It's okay to evolve. Anyway, chapter 22, Guns for Hire. Bo and Din Djarin go to a planet to find her old band of Mandalorian mercenaries to recruit them to retake Mandalore. Before they get to them, though, there's a side quest involving rogue droids, and then finding the source of their outburst. The episode concludes with Bo and Din finding Bo's old mercenaries. She challenges the new leader for a duel in leadership. She defeats him. They still won't truly accept her until she claims the darksaber. And Mando explains that technically it should be hers now, and that Bo-Katan Kryze is the rightful owner of the darksaber. And everybody's like, oh, okay, that makes sense, I guess. So yeah, what are your thoughts on the Jack Black Lizzo episode?
I'm gonna get canceled, but
Oh,
it's my time to shine.
It's rant time. Let's get it.
Bryce Dallas Howard, you stinking bitch! How dare you get this? And I literally wrote this in my notes. Get the fuck out of here with this Me Too, women are amazing, women need to shine bullshit.
Wait, Julian. To be fair, she directed the episode. We don't know. Did she write it as well?
I'm blaming her because she decided she pressed the fucking green light. So for her to start the episode with this bullshit random alien love story. Oh dear, I didn't kidnap you. I just love you. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. For her to dare to give Lizzo 10 pages of lines in a Mandalorian show with Jack Black as her counterpart, how fucking dare you? And to top it all off, again, to have Bo-Katan be the coldest nigga in the show when the show is about Din Djarin. You said something earlier, like the show is called The Mandalorian. It could be about any. No, it's not. The show is about Din Djarin. He is the Mandalorian. He deserves to shine. It's his show. He's number one. He's the first on the call sheet. Bo-Katan has been outshining this nigga the entire series, and I don't like it. Like she went crazy. Like she walked up to the niggas like, yeah, bitch, like it's on. Like this is my fleet. These is my men. He was like, let's fight. The nigga tried to shoot the rocket. Counter! Like, just fucking need the nigga. And then she beat his ass. Like, Bo-Katan was going crazy again. Like, I absolutely loved it. Like,
But Julian,
go ahead.
For Star Wars fans, just give you some reference. Bo-Katan has been in Star Wars for much longer than Din Djarin.
Yeah.
She was already established as a badass a long time ago. So this is like payoff for them. I'm just saying. I know you didn't watch Rebels,
Hmm.
me
Hmm.
either, but it's been conveyed to me that she is that bitch, and that was established previous before. So they can't just put her on the back burner now if they're gonna introduce her. You know?
Yeah, they can. So,
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
like I like again, like I actually loved that Bo-Katan was such a badass. I just don't love that she's a badass at the expense of the Mandalorian being a background character. Like, and how fucking dare Mando just give this bullshit ask? Oh well, really though, she saved my life. I dropped the motherfucking saber. She beat the nigga ass with the saber I dropped. So in actuality, on technicality, she is the leader of Mandalore. She on the dark saber. And like these niggas just ate it up. They was like, well, you're right. Ah! Like I I wanted I wanted to throw up. Like bro, like I think we had a debate like a little while ago where we were like, is Mando street level? And you were just like, he has the fucking dark saber. He's not street. Yes, just fuck he is.
Oh
Like
wow.
this nigga is forever going to be street level. I just it's cool if you don't want power, right? Like that's the like the Harry Potter spiel. Like Dumbledore used to say to Harry, like um leaders, or what the fuck was the quote? Something like leaders aren't seeking out power seeks out the leaders, or some shit like that. So like I get it, like you don't just want power for power's sake, but the dark saber, bro, like you don't have to rule Mandalore, but the dark saber, you're just gonna give it away? Cool. Whatever. But yeah, Grogu still doesn't have nothing to do. Lizzo, Jesus Christ, her acting was abysmal. Um, yeah, Bryce Dallas Howard, how fucking dare you? Like she's directed great episodes in the show before. Um, but this time, I honestly think, like, I literally believe this, and like nobody can convince me different. I literally believe that she was on her like women need to shine, like this is a women like girl power, and she was like, yeah, like all of us are gonna shine this episode. And it was the wrong decision. What do you think about this episode, Monty?
Yeah, this is the second to worst episode. I don't blame Bryce Dallas Howard. Like you said, she's made some of the best Mandalorian episodes. Don't forget that. And as a director, you don't have say in the writing. Maybe she did, but for the most part, as a director, all you're doing is taking what has been written for the episode and you're just simply directing it out and playing it out. So to blame her, I see what you're saying, but I don't want to blame her completely because I just don't think she had that much say in how the direction of the episode went personally. Um, the opening, like you said that was ass. I liked it. It kind of gave me like Star Trek vibes. Like I was like, okay, it's something different. But it kind of went nowhere. But I guess it was to establish that like the mercenaries out there doing their own thing. It was cool to see Sasha Banks fine ass again. I was wondering where she was. I was like, okay, you back, you back. Yeah, we had more than just Jack Black and Lizzo. We had Christopher Lloyd. Did you notice him as the one that was doing the
The
whole droid
security.
thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was surprised to see Christopher Lloyd in Star Wars. That's kind of cool.
I couldn't place him. I recognized him from something, but I just couldn't place him.
Yeah, Doc from Back to the Future. It was so
Ah,
yeah.
got it.
He's gotten really old. It's so cool to see the Clone Wars era droids, which is I love when Star Wars like references the Clone Wars. I feel like so many times they try to like get away from that, like oh it's just the OG and sequel trilogy. The Clone War, I mean the prequels never really happened, but no, I like when they kind of reference that. So it was cool seeing the old droids in this new Star Wars era. I don't know, I like seeing that for continuity's sake. And like you said, bro, like whoever made the rules for the dark saber had to be like in second grade. Like if you if you defeat the enemy that defeated me, that makes you the ruler. And the fact that like these Mandalorians just like they just kind of accept that shit. Like the Mandalorians are kind of dumb to me. Like honestly, like the whole thing with like nigga, because you know back there was like a huge war back in the day between like the Jedi and Mandalorians. I see why the Jedi fucking won. Like these niggas like can't take your mask off. The ruler of the sword owns the whole planet. Like nigga, can y'all niggas evolve and get some like fucking complicated like some complex rules in democracy? Like it just makes no sense. But yeah, like you, this episode wasn't all that to me. I guess last thing I just want to say here is I put it in my notes. Where are we here? Oh well, you kind of already answered it. Like at this point, Bo-Katan clearly is like a co-star and not no longer a background star. So,
She's the
I
number
mean,
one,
you think she's number one at this point?
100%. She's
Okay.
got way more shine than Mando has.
Okay. Well, I guess that's fair. Well, it's not bothering me as much as it's bothering everybody else, but I definitely see your complaints. Chapter 23, the spies. It opens with Moff Gideon speaking. Oh, also, do we ever realize how Moff Gideon? Because they made a big point to say like, oh, it was Beskar in the place where he was abducted from or whatever. What Mandalorians freed him? Do we know? Was that ever answered?
I think it was the troopers with the Beskar armor. I think that's what they're referring to. It seems like Moff Gideon has been on Mandalore for a while, and
Okay.
he's been harvesting their Beskar to make those the Dark Trooper suit for him, and then the White Trooper, whatever the fuck they're called, for them, and they're the
Imperials.
ones that busted him out. That's what I interpreted. I don't
Hmm.
think any Mandalorians freed Moff Gideon.
Okay, that was just okay. I was kind of lost on me. Anyway, chapter 3, 23, the spies opens with Moff Gideon speaking to a secret council of Empire leaders. He convinces them to convince the Mandalorians from retaking Mandalore. Both sects of the Mandalorians meet on Navarro. The Mandalorians from each sect agree to go to Mandalore and scout before the full reclaiming takes place. They run into the Night Owl sect once they arrive on Mandalore, attacked by what appears to be stormtroopers, but of course we know they're the new imperialists.
Mhm.
Moff Gideon appears in a Mandalorian cosplay, essentially, um, and the big Mandalorian sacrifices himself. I
The
put the,
big Mandalorian,
yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm reading my notes. I'm so stupid.
No.
Paz Vizsla sacrifices himself.
The big Mandalorian.
Oh my God, Paz Vizsla. Paz Vizsla
Uh,
sacrifices himself so that the
Give me those
Mandalorians can get
motherfucking
away.
Star Wars cards. Give me that shit, nigga.
Why did I
This
write
nigga.
that? Okay. No, you know what happened was I couldn't think of his name while I'm writing the notes. I just put. I'm supposed to go back and edit that shit. But
The
anyway,
big motherfucker right now.
the big one. But yeah, hell. What are your
You're
thoughts on
fine.
the episode?
This episode was amazing. They could have just given me 3 episodes of this and, fucked out the filler and I would have been happier. But they didn't. So yeah. It sucks to see Paz Vizsla go out like this. I mean, he kind of left his children or his child fatherless just so he can have an honorable death. Because he definitely could have escaped. But yeah, like he went out like a G. I mean, he gunned down as many as he could with his little minigun, and he tried to fight the three niggas in the red, and they ganged up on him. But it was a great opening scene too with Moff Gideon. It's so great to have Giancarlo Esposito back. Um, we all know he's such a talented actor. He has such a presence, and just the way that he can command a room when he's in a room full of other, um, I guess they're not the Empire. Well, the little
Imperialist.
Empire remnants. Um, it was just interesting to see, like just interesting to see him just essentially dominate the conversation, and make sure that they know who they're dealing with. Uh, they obviously mentioned Grand Admiral Thrawn is coming to revive the Empire, so that's cool news to me, I guess. Which is I guess that's just a little nugget for Ahsoka fans out there. Maybe that's what we're gonna see. Um, but yeah, I mean, ultimately the huge battle sequence at the end was very interesting. I was wondering why Bo-Katan decided to wait to use the darksaber to get out of there. Like clearly they were trapped on both sides. I'm not sure why it took, Din Djarin and everybody else getting captured or killed before she was like, "Oh, I have the darksaber. Let me cut a hole through here." Um, whatever plot. Seeing Grogu get IG-12 was fucking hilarious. Like this little nigga is so bad, bro. Like this nigga is so bad.
Oh, no.
Like yeah, like no, baby, get the fuck out of here. Like and of course he fits perfectly. And I thought that maybe this could be like a long term solution to his little goofiness, like his little walking and all that. But like I very quickly missed just him floating in a space pod next to Mando. So yeah, but yeah, all in all, this is a great episode, man. I was here for it. Especially seeing I thought that Moff Gideon looked cool in the Dark Trooper suit. But yeah, finale next. So what do you think?
I agree. This is definitely one of the better episodes. This and episode 2 are my favorite episodes of the season. It's interesting, like even amongst the three factions of Mandalorians, Din Djarin's suit is still like by far the cleanest. Like that
Cleanest.
silver is
Clean.
just so fucking dope.
Yeah.
And I have to say, like overall in this episode, the overall just the cinematography, like I said, is just movie level at this point. Like it feels like they almost put more money into certain episodes than others. Which I guess
Which
maybe
is common. That's common.
probably the norm. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, this looked beautiful, man. Like the shots on Mandalore, like I'd frame some of those shots. It looked really cool. Grogu in the IG-12 suit, I thought looked dumb as hell. I wasn't a fan of that.
Really?
Nah, I like the floating pod better, and just like you said, it was just at this point it was abundantly clear they had no idea what to do with this man.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, yeah, like what the fuck are we doing?
Let's give him a robot.
It's funny too when Grogu broke up the fight between those two Mandalorians on the ship, and Mando was like, he ain't learned that shit from me.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah,
Mando said, I ain't teaching. But I thought that was funny.
Mando said, "Fight to the death, bitch."
I was like, okay, that's the old Mando. That's season 1 Mando in this bit. And I thought the scene was touching though when he spoke to Bo-Katan, like he told her basically like, you know, you're my leader. You know, I will follow you. It kind of gave me. It kind of gave
written yet.
Right. It kind of gave me like Game of Thrones vibe. So I really appreciated that. If anything, in terms of like an emotional standpoint. I'm still wondering, are they hinting at a possible romance between these two? Because they never really go there with it. Like they kind of she'll have like a lingering look as he walks away, but I can never pinpoint like, is there something there? I wish it was. I mean, what do you think? I don't know.
We all know how I feel about romance and literally anything. I mean, first of all, it wouldn't have added anything to the storyline, so I'm glad that they're not going there. But I have not gotten a single romantic vibe from either of them. So
okay,
that's
maybe it's just a horny in me speaking, but
yes, it is.
And Paz Vizsla sacrificed himself as I said, but those red guards, those are like the same ones from like The Last Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just interesting to see like how easily Rey and Kylo Ren kind of dispatched so many of them. It just kind of shows the skill difference, I guess. And I mean,
well, they're way more powerful.
Yeah, those are top tier Jedi. I know. I'm just saying, like I like that kind of like how they kind of show the difference in power. I mean, like I said, there was a war back in the day between the Mandalorians and the Jedis, and I'm just wondering like, how did the Mandalorians keep up with such a powerful foe?
In the Jedi armor, baby.
A Beskar, I guess. I don't know, but I'm just wondering, like, I don't know. So I guess that kind of wraps it up for me for episode 7. And now this is where we go to hell. You ready?
Wow. Okay. Good.
Chapter 24, The Return. Din Djarin escapes custody with help of Grogu. Great. They find out Moff Gideon has been cloning himself. Bo-Katan and the other Mandalorians make an effort to retake Mandalore once again against the forces of Moff Gideon. Bo, Grogu, and Din face off against Moff Gideon. Moff Gideon is seemingly killed after destroying the Darksaber, and Grogu uses a powerful display of the Force to protect Bo and Din from a fiery blast. Din Djarin adopts Grogu officially. Grogu becomes Din Grogu. Din becomes an independent contractor for the New Republic, and IG-11 is brought back to life and becomes the Marshal of Navarro. What are your thoughts on this finale?
I enjoyed it, man. I mean, I thought that it was certainly rushed, and that maybe the payoff wasn't what I was expecting. But I mean, Din Jamal Grogu, like this nigga broke the scoring record in this episode. Like he was going crazy. I want to see more of this Grogu. I mean, the little flips be damned, but like his use of the Force in this episode was just crazy. I mean, not even like the explosion scene, but just the way he was helping out Mando fight. How he was holding people back, or he was lifting stuff up, or pushing people back, or whatever the case may be. I mean, he was going crazy. And like that Mando scene with the walls and the guards, like where he kept raising the shields, he was beating the fuck out them niggas, and I was like, this is who I want. Like this is my Mando right here. Like this guy that was like, hold, bitch. Yeah. All right, they did. All right, open the next one. Yeah. Open the next one. Like I love that shit. He was going crazy. And the Moff Gideon thing, yeah, it was interesting. I think this was one of my main problems with the season as a whole. Like I pretty much knew that he couldn't really be around, but I still didn't expect him to just die like that. Like it was kind of like I don't know. It kind of made him seem like not a big deal, honestly. Like the way he went out, I would have loved to have seen somebody get the kill, other than them just dropping a space cruiser and that exploding. But whatever. The whole dark saber destruction, it bothered me initially because, like I said, like it's so powerful. But then I realized, I mean, you can just rebuild it, like as long as the crystals are there, or whatever the fuck they're called. So you can rebuild the dark saber. So I'm not like, I don't know, and I'm assuming that's what they're going to do. Because also to this point, I was assuming that Mando was going to get the dark saber again to kill Moff Gideon, and none of that happened. So whatever. Yeah, I mean, and then like after that, like we kind of just hit like we kind of just check a bunch of boxes. Like Mandalore is back, Bo-Katan is leader, Grogu, I mean, has been adopted, and now him and Din Djarin are living a peaceful life. And like the episode kind of just ends. Um, I still enjoyed this finale, but I will say that it was a bit rushed. And ultimately, I think like this is pretty much the story that they wanted to tell in season 2 maybe, but because Grogu became so popular and they had an opportunity to bring Luke Skywalker in, they kind of had to do it, and they kind of pushed this stuff back. But yeah, I mean, I feel like if this show never blew up like it did, then this was probably how it was always going to end. I mean, we already know it's going to be a season 4, so I mean, it's not over, but I think like this is probably like the original A to Z story, which is pretty much what we got. So I'll accept it for what it is at this point. What do you think?
I wasn't a big fan of this finale. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't necessarily great to me. And it's interesting you mentioned like the whole thing with Grogu, like they have no idea what to do with him. I kind of feel similarly to Moff Gideon. Like, do they know what to do with Moff Gideon either? I mean, he comes in every episode. He's supposed to be this big threat, and he gets dispatched at the end very quite easily. I mean, I love Esposito. He's doing all that he can. But the character of Moff Gideon, I just think they don't know what to do with him, honestly. The scene with the Mandalorians fighting the Imperials while they're airborne, I thought that was super dope. That was one of the highlights to me of the episode. Like they're all fighting in the air. They're like flying around like superheroes. Like Bo-Katan's going crazy with the dark saber. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Um, I literally laughed out loud when Grogu was fighting the Red Guards, and like it just shows like this the scene. The camera just pans out. You just see him fighting like these three. I'm like, nigga, what is going on? Like he's flipping around the ceiling, and it's just like okay, yeah. I was mad at the puppetry on that one. Grogu, it's funny, like every finale, whether it be Boba Fett, even Mandalorian, like he always has to display some powerful feat of the Force in the finale. And I mean, it was cool, but it is getting a little old to me. Like it just seems like formulaic at this point. Like, oh wait, what's Grogu going to do with the Force now? Now that was a powerful display, but and it's funny, like Bo tried to use her little ass shield to stop him from that fiery ass blast. I'm like, Bo, baby, come on now.
Yeah.
People that showed up. I don't think Moff Gideon is dead. If you know Star Wars, if you don't see the nigga die, if you don't see his last heartbeat, he is not dead. Dying in a fiery explosion in Star Wars doesn't mean anything to me. He's not dead. He'll be back.
Even if you do see them die, I mean,
Right.
we saw fucking Darth Maul get cut in half.
Right. So he'll be back, and yeah. I never see. You kind of mentioned something that I really want to pinpoint is that I never felt like there were real stakes in the finale. That was the problem with me. It just felt like okay, I'm just waiting to see how Bo, Din, and Grogu get out of here, and I don't know. Like that's just is there a way to make this where there is stakes? I mean, they tried to with the whole Paz Vizsla thing, like showing that that the deaths can occur, but I just never felt like anybody was in actual danger. And I like you said, I do need the dark saber back expeditiously. I just think it's such a cool weapon. Just to abandon that so early on would be, I think that would be a disservice in my opinion. And this is just to me was like just the most anticlimactic finale ever in my like when it comes to the Mandalorian. Like I enjoyed season one's finale even more, and I know that there's super high like. First of all, season 2 finale is one of the best finales in TV history, in my opinion. Like, if you're a Star Wars fan, you were on your feet, you were screaming at the screen, like you had so much fun with that finale with Luke. And maybe I'm thinking they might have blew their load too early with the whole Luke reveal. Maybe they should have saved him for a little bit later, because how do you top that? And this finale wasn't even in the same ballpark. So I'm just wondering, I'm watching, I'm like, how are they gonna come and how are they gonna make that Luke thing? How are they gonna kind of compare to that? It just never happened. So. maybe I'm just a slave to my own expectations, and
Yeah, you are.
comparison is the thief of joy. But this
Yeah.
finale just was nothing to me. Overall, what are your thoughts on the season? And are you excited for season 4? And what do you want to see in season 4?
I mean, yeah, this season was definitely a step down in forms of its totality. I do think that there were individual things in here that were great, but I don't ever want to see this again. Like I do not want to see Mando taking a backseat to anybody, um, and I do not want to see anybody else coming in on his show taking the shine of like this is what Mando did to fucking Boba Fett, like in the book of Boba Fett, like, and Boba Fett fans were not happy. They're like, yeah, this should be called the Book of the Mandalorian, like whatever. Um, I don't want Bo-Katan back. Like she's had her time. She rules Mandalore. Like go off and let's have a spinoff show that I will not watch. But like I want the Mandalorian back to being about Din Djarin and Grogu. And hopefully moving forward in season 4. First of all, fuck yeah, I'm excited for season 4. I will say for this season, I was not watching week to week. Like there were times where I was like 3 episodes behind, and like I wasn't even worried. Um, when there is like no discourse or discussion on social media about the show, that's saying a lot. Because typically I have to avoid things when it comes to this show because like niggas be up at 3 a.m. like tweeting like, bro, oh my god, did you see this? Did you see that? That just didn't happen for any of these episodes. And I mean, I think we see why. I mean, it wasn't that interesting. They took a long time to get to things that we cared about. The payoffs weren't what we expected. I will say I was not comparing anything to the previous seasons. I just wanted it to be a good show. And ultimately I think that I think that I think that this was a good season, but it wasn't a good season of The Mandalorian, if that makes any sense. Like this show has kind of um evolved to where like you really can't just put out a B season. Like you can't. Like this show's too good, the characters are too popular, the world's too rich. It's Star Wars. And we care. You really can't just have a solid season. Like everything pretty much has to be great. So yeah, season 4. I mean, I'm looking forward to the show getting back to its roots. Like I said, I want Din Djarin and Grogu back on an adventure. I want Grogu to have some type of purpose, whether that's him becoming a full fledged Mandalorian, whether that's him leaving again to an extent. I don't know, but I think that this show needs to get back to its roots. And now that Mando's been redeemed, now that him and Grogu are back together, let's figure out where to go with these characters, and let's write this thing and let's make another great season 4. What do you think, Money?
Yeah, this season to me was just average. I gave it a C. It's not bad at all, but it's just a tremendous step down from what we've been getting. And I just think once again, I just want to say that maybe it's time to abandon the week to week episodic nature because like the show has evolved to a point where fans expect a certain thing, a certain amount of greatness, a certain storyline that you've promised us. And I don't know if they have the balls to kind of abandon that formula, but I think it's time for that because that way we don't get rushed finales in the last 2 episodes. Like
Yeah,
we get it to something that's built and something that's earned. But of course, I'm excited for season 4. I don't think Dave Filoni and John Favreau. I don't blame them completely for this season. I think Kathleen Kennedy had a lot to do with the decisions. I could be totally wrong on that, but I just don't think like they've made so much great Star Wars content together. Especially, I just don't think they were responsible for this catastrophe. So hopefully they can get back the reins in season 4 and get back to the Mandalorian that we love. They are great at receiving feedback, I can say. So I think they will receive this feedback that they've been getting from the fans and make something great for season 4. So yeah, I'm excited.
yeah, yeah, man. Look, that was our thoughts, guys. Hopefully we weren't too harsh. If we were, I don't give a fuck. This is
Mm,
my fucking show. We can say what we want. Mondi, great episode, man. Thank you.
thank you.